Hey guys, today's video, I'm going to go through the 10 biggest mistakes that I've made and I've seen other people make as well when going through a cutting diet. What's up guys, thanks for clicking on the video. So if you're watching this, I assume you're either dieting or cutting, or you're interested in maybe starting a cut. And as you guys know, the goal of a successful diet or cut is you want to lose body fat and get lean. You don't want to just lose weight and lose all your muscles. So in this video I'm going to go over my 10 biggest mistakes that I've personally have made and I've seen through a lot of people and people that I coach. So I'm going to go over my top 10. It's not necessarily all of them, just my top 10. So hope you enjoy. Alright guys, mistake number 1 is your calories are set too high. So if there's one thing that you guys take from anything that I say in all my videos, I've said this so many times, but it's really calories in versus calories out. So if you got to find your maintenance level of calories, but if you want to lose weight and cut, you got to be in a caloric deficit. So you need to be expending more calories than you're consuming. So I've done a lot of videos on how to calculate and figure out what your maintenance is and getting into the right deficit, but as long as your calories are too high, you're not going to lose any weight or cut down at all. Like your calories need to be lower. So if they're too high, you're not going to be able to reach your goals. So that's mistake number 1. Alright guys, mistake number 2 is actually going to be the opposite of number 1. It's setting your calories too low. So a lot of people do this when they don't really understand nutrition completely and they're first starting a diet or cut. I've done this before, and you kind of start with a crash diet and you think your calories have to be super low, and let me just tell you guys that less does not mean more in this case. So when your calories are way too low, that's when you're going to start sacrificing muscle and you're just not going to feel good. Your gym performance is going to go down. Overall, it's just not going to be a good time. And a lot of people, so you want to have your protein at high enough, especially when you're in a deficit. So at least 1 gram per pound of body weight is what I recommend, and you fill in the rest with carbs and fats. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of. They're afraid of fats, and there's healthy fats, and there's a misconception that if you're eating fats, it's going to make you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. Being in a caloric surplus makes you fat. So don't be afraid of healthy fats. Don't be afraid of carbs. As long as you're in that caloric deficit, you're going to be losing weight, but you don't want to be super low. You're going to start losing muscle that way. So and it's just not going to be a good look. So that is mistake number 2. Alright guys, mistake number 3 is too much cardio. And these 10 mistakes are not in any particular order. I just kind of jotted them down and I'm going through. I jotted down a bunch actually, and I picked my top 10. So number 3, too much cardio. Kind of goes along with mistake number 2, and people will think that they just have to get on the treadmill or the Stairmaster and they just got to do so much cardio to lose weight, and that's going to put you in a really deep deficit as well. You don't need to do that. Cardio a few times a week, work your way up. The leaner and leaner you get, but you don't want to be doing an hour of cardio every single day. Again, you're going to be sacrificing muscle if you're in too low of a deficit, and you're not going to feel good. So too much, and focus on weight training. If I'm got a busy day and I know I can only make it to the gym and there's either weight training or cardio, I can't do both. I always do the weight training. I prioritize that over cardio. It's actually more important because you want to be, still working out, using your muscles, holding on to as much muscle as you possibly can. If your plan is to just go to the gym once or twice a day, every single day, and do cardio for an hour, it's just you're not going to get the best results. So that's mistake number 3. All right, mistake number 4 is incorrectly tracking your calories and macros. So you got your maintenance calories, you're in your slight deficit, you got everything planned out, you got your macros, your appropriate amount of protein, and your carbs and fats, you got that all figured out. but then you don't realize that you're actually tracking your calories incorrectly. So I've told you guys before, I recommend downloading MyFitnessPal. Free app, very easy to use, helps you track macros, and I highly recommend getting a food scale. I know not everyone wants to use those, but it does make a difference, guys. When you're just eyeballing it, and especially the leaner and leaner you get, the harder it gets, it's things get tight. And I highly recommend getting a scale. And so when you're just eyeballing it, you might be taking in a lot more than you think. And then other things like that, some beginners might not realize. Like, are you drinking Gatorades? Like, some people don't realize, oh shit, there's a lot of calories in drinks like that. How are you cooking your food? Are you cooking with olive oil? A lot of it, I mean, that's a healthy fat, but fats are more dense than carbs and proteins. 9 calories per 1 gram of fat. So if you're cooking everything in a bunch of olive oil, your calories are going to be way higher than you know. Or is someone else cooking your food? Are they using butter, oils, stuff like that? Are you using condiments? Are you using dressings? But yeah, so I highly recommend getting a food scale and use it and tracking everything in MyFitnessPal. It helps out so much. It makes a big difference. That's a huge mistake. Like, some people have their plan perfectly ironed out, and they don't see why they're not seeing results. It's because they're not actually in a deficit. They're eating stuff that they don't realize that they're actually eating at maintenance or surplus. So that's mistake number 4. Alright guys, mistake number 5 is following a fad diet that doesn't work for you. So there's a lot of different diets out there. I'm not going to speak on them because I haven't tried all of them, but I know they work. Like keto, I've never tried it. It's different than what I do, but I see a lot of people have great results with that. There's intermittent fasting. That's just having a small eating window at one point in the day. I know that works. I've done that a little bit, but not really. There's a lot of different fad diets out there, but you got to really find what works best for you. So you don't need to be, if you have a coach give you just like, here's what you got to eat every single day: oatmeal and eggs for breakfast, chicken and broccoli and rice for lunch, same thing for dinner, and you don't like that food, it's going to be very hard for you to keep going. You need to find foods that you like. So say you don't like sweet potatoes, but you like white potatoes, eat the white potatoes. Find the meats that you like. Pick out your food preferences, foods that you're going to enjoy, and then find a way in MyFitnessPal to fit those into your day to hit your macros and calories. And then same thing with like meal timing. Don't believe when people say like, oh, you can't eat past like 7 p.m. or you need to have 6 meals a day, or if you don't eat every 2 to 3 hours, your metabolism's going to slow down. That stuff, don't even worry about that stuff. Those are not true. It's just calories in versus calories out for the day. You got to figure out the best way that you can hit your calories. So you got to find the foods that you like and your eating frequency, and just got to figure out what's going to work best for you. Because if you try to just force like foods because you're told like these are superfoods, or like you can't have this or you can't have that, you're not going to enjoy it as much. So that's mistake number 5, following a plan or fad diet or myth or something that doesn't necessarily align with your preferences or lifestyle. So that's 5. Alright guys, mistake number 6, cheat days. I don't like cheat days. Cheat meals are okay. Cheat days are, if you just set aside one day of the week to eat whatever you want all day long, you're just not going to make any progress. You're going to set yourself back just where you started at the beginning of the week, if not even further, depending on how much you eat. Maybe cheat meals if you're smart about it. Like, not like a cheat meal that's going to be like 5,000 calories or something crazy with beer and alcohol. Like, alcohol has calories too, guys. So, if you're going to have a cheat meal or you're going to have alcohol, that kind of stuff, prepare for it. And don't do like a cheat day, because if you do a whole cheat day, that is just going to set you back. I promise you, or you're going to be doing a ton of cardio to maintain that deficit, and it's just not going to be the ideal way to do it. So that's mistake number 6. Avoid full cheat days, and then when you have a cheat meal, be reasonable with it. And guys, a refeed day is not a cheat day. It's different. We'll talk about refeed days in a different video. But that's number 6. Alright guys, mistake number 7 is not making adjustments. So if you're a beginner, like I said before, don't just be looking at the scale. Weight's not always going to tell you. You might be putting on muscle and losing fat at the same time, so the scale might not really be moving. Don't worry about it too much, but still weigh yourself. Still use it as a tool. Monitor your process with mirror pics and stuff. But mistake number 7 is not making adjustments along the way. So if you find yourself you're sticking to your diet, you're sticking to the same gym training program, you're not messing up, and you're kind of leveled out, plateaued, then you got to make an adjustment. There's 2 ways to make an adjustment, guys. The adjustment you need to make is you got to get into a lower caloric deficit. So there's 2 adjustments to make. You either got to lower your calories, probably through carbs or fats, probably carbs, that's what I recommend, or you got to increase your energy output. So that's probably going to come in another day of cardio, or another extra 50 to 100 calories every time you do cardio. So those are the adjustments that you need to make along the way. So as you get leaner and leaner, the harder and harder it's going to get, but you got to make adjustments. You can't just keep doing how you started. Like if you started and you're very overweight, you're going to see really good results initially, but at some point you're going to have to lower it again. So that's mistake number 7, not adjusting along the way. Alright, mistake number 8 is failure to prepare. Like I've said before, meal prepping helps you out a ton, because if you have the food ready, you're less likely to cheat. It's easier for you if you've got limited time, and then going into the gym with a training plan, having a meal plan, having everything planned out, and not just winging everything, and because then you're gonna start making excuses, or it's just not gonna be easy. Go in with a plan and stick to it. So that's number 8. Alright guys, mistake number 9 is comparing yourselves to others or unrealistic expectations. So you might see someone who's completely ripped, and that's what you want to have, but you got to keep in mind, some people have better genetics than others. Some people have been doing it for much longer. When you're cutting the fat off, and you're revealing the muscle you have underneath. If you haven't built a lot of muscle, you're not going to be fully ripped. If you cut down and you don't have a thick six-pack, that means then you're going to have to work harder at training your abs in the gym. And you got to have realistic expectations. You're not always going to look like the person on Instagram or in the magazines. Then you're just going to be disappointed. You're going to get discouraged. Make sure you go in and don't compare yourself to others. Have realistic expectations of your fitness journey. So that's 9. Alright, mistake number 10 is not being accountable. You got to be accountable to yourself. Don't make excuses. Don't let other people, change what you're trying to do. You got to be accountable. You got to do it. You got to figure out why you're doing this, why you want to do it, and stick to it. Find the motivation and just do it. Just keep doing it. And stay accountable. Don't just give up when it gets hard, or make excuses every other day, because then you're just it's just not gonna work. You gotta be accountable. So that's number 10. And those are my 10 biggest mistakes. So I hope that was helpful, guys. I've made all of those mistakes. I have trained people who have made those mistakes. I've seen those mistakes. Avoid them. So when you're starting a diet, make sure you find your maintenance. Get into a slight caloric deficit, not too low, and find a good plan, stick to it, make adjustments along the way, and not everything's always gonna go perfect, guys. You might mess up sometimes. Don't let that completely derail you. It'll be okay, but yeah, just keep making adjustments and keep going. So I help out with setting up training programs and coaching and nutrition. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at my email or on social media. But yeah, I hope you guys found that useful. Hope you guys are looking to start a diet or cut and are very successful with it. It's fun and addictive. Maybe not to everyone, but if you do it right, it doesn't have to be miserable. You don't have to hate it. Just gotta find what works for you, your preferences, your lifestyle, and you could definitely do it. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though ambition, flow inside my DNA.